The signal began as a faint whisper in the dark, so weak that even the stars ignored it. For centuries, space had been silent. No one sent distress calls anymore. Those who once ruled the galaxy were gone. But tonight, something changed. Far, beyond the edge of known space, an alien colony ship called Vireth 9 drifted through debris and smoke. Its engines were dead, its shields broken, and its crew barely alive. The ship's AI sent out one final cry for help. The message was simple. SOS. We are dying. Anyone. Please respond. It should have faded into nothing. But space remembered. The signal jumped between ruined satellites and abandoned beacons. It echoed through dead relays and ancient wormholes until, by pure accident, or fate, it reached Earth. Deep under the Pacific Ocean, inside an old military base known only as Station Zero, a forgotten radar dish caught something strange. The computer buzzed, lights flickered, and an alert appeared on a dusty screen. Commander Elena Roth, who had been monitoring the quiet station for years, frowned at the data. "This can't be right," she murmured. "Frequency type Vireth? That band hasn't been active for 10,000 years. Her assistant leaned closer. "Maybe it's a glitch." "No," Elena said softly. "It's real. It's a distress signal." They played the message again. Static filled the room, then a trembling alien voice whispered, "Please, help us. Dying." For a moment, no one spoke. Humanity had believed itself alone for millennia. The last contact with alien life had ended in blood and fire during the Collapse Wars. And now, after all this time, someone was calling again. The message reached Fleet Command within the hour. In orbit, the Human Defense Network awakened. Old war satellites turned toward the stars. One by one, long silent ships came online, machines that had slept beneath the moon's shadow. On the bridge of the massive ISS Vanguard, Admiral Soren Hale watched the decoded message in silence. He had seen many wars, but none like this. "An alien distress call?" he said quietly. "Yes, sir. Coordinates confirmed. Outer Rim Sector 12. "After all these centuries," Hale muttered, "they still remember how to beg." News of the signal spread through the fleet. Some officers wanted to ignore it. Others wanted to investigate. Humanity's name still carried fear across the stars, if any aliens still lived to remember it. But curiosity won. The fleet AI processed the transmission and confirmed authenticity. No trap, no loopback. Real life. Real survivors. "Set course for Sector 12, Hale ordered. "Activate all jump cores. I want the Armada ready within the hour." Beneath the clouds of Earth, enormous silos opened. Columns of blue light cut through the night as ships launched from hidden bunkers. Civilians watched from the cities below as streaks of light rose toward the heavens. Mothers whispered to children, "The old warships are flying again." Historians stared at the skies and felt an ancient dread return. At the same time, far, away in the Vireth system, the last surviving aliens gathered around their failing beacon. The distress signal had gone out hours ago, but no help had come. Their captain, Taryn Vell, stared at the cracked viewport, watching their sun flicker behind a wall of wreckage. "No one is coming," one of the engineers said weakly. "Someone will," Vell replied, forcing a smile. "Someone always hears." But deep down he didn't believe it. Then their sensors blinked. A wave of strange energy appeared at the edge of the system. Massive, controlled, artificial. Not pirates, not scavengers, ships. Thousands of them. The Vireth froze in horror as the first silhouettes emerged from hyperspace. Dark gray hulls glowed with cold blue light. The ships were unlike anything built in their time. Sharp, precise, terrifying. "Identify," the sensor officer shouted. "Signal codes unknown." "Wait. There's a match. Ancient Terran Fleet Command signatures." The captain's voice broke. "Terran? Humans? That's impossible. Every record said Earth was gone." destroyed in the collapse. But reality disagreed. Meanwhile, aboard the Vanguard, Hale watched the alien planet appear through the viewport. Oceans burned, cities lay in ruin, and strange wreckage filled the orbit. He saw the distress beacon pulsing weakly on the surface. "Admiral," said the AI voice, "the source of the call is still active. Life signs detected." "Then let's give them their answer." He turned to his officers. "Deploy the fleet. Standard rescue formation." The bridge lights dimmed. The engines thundered. Human warships, silent for millennia, now roared like awakening gods. As the Virith survivors watched in awe, the human fleet surrounded their dying world. Gigantic cruisers blocked out the stars. Energy shields shimmered like blue glass. The air trembled as human voices echoed through comms. "Virith 9, this is Terran Fleet Command. We received your signal." "Terran?" the alien replied, shaking. "You came to help us." "Help?" Hale's tone was calm. "Yes, in our own way. The humans had come not only to rescue, but to remember. Because somewhere deep in Earth's memory, the Virith had once been enemies. Old data showed they were part of the alliance that tried to erase humanity long ago. And now, history had come full circle. The alien crew stared at the sky filled with thunder. They had no idea if salvation or judgment had arrived. Their message had been a call for mercy. But what came back was something far greater and far more terrifying. The humans had heard the signal, and the galaxy would never be silent again. The darkness of space shimmered with blue light as Human Fleet Command arrived. Thousands of warships burst out of hyperspace like angry gods. Each one carried the scars of past wars, armor dented, hulls marked by forgotten battles, but their engines glowed with terrifying life. For the first time in 10,000 years, Earth's fleet had returned to the stars. Inside the alien control station, panic filled the air. The Virith survivors stared at their monitors, unable to breathe. Ships larger than mountains now surrounded their dying world. "There must be a mistake," whispered the communications officer. "Humans, they were destroyed." The legend said. "The legends were wrong," Captain Terran Vell said, voice shaking. He could feel the cold wave of fear in the room. The stories of humanity's last war were ancient but unforgettable. Back then, the humans had faced a galactic alliance, and when cornered, they didn't surrender. They burned everything. And now the Virith had called for help from the very monsters of their legends. From the bridge of the ISS Vanguard, Admiral Soren Hale watched the planet below. Ash clouds twisted across the surface, glowing orange with fire. The distress beacon blinked weakly among the ruins. "Life signs confirmed," reported the AI. "Minimal survivors. Radiation levels rising." "Then we move fast," Hale ordered. "Deploy med teams and scouts." The fleet broke formation. Massive ships descended into orbit, engines lighting up the night side of the planet. Their shadows stretched across continents. But as the dropships prepared to land, something unexpected appeared. Enemy signatures. A cluster of unknown vessels burst from behind the planet's moon, fast, sharp, and clearly armed. They were not Virith ships. Their design was older, almost ancient. "Incoming hostiles," the AI warned. "Weapons lock in 5 seconds." The first missile wave hit like thunder. Explosions bloomed across the upper atmosphere. Human shields flared blue as debris scattered like glowing dust. Admiral Hale clenched his jaw. "So this is what destroyed the Virith," he muttered. "Activate defense grid. Full power to weapons. Let's remind them what humanity is made of." In seconds, the human fleet answered. Dozens of railguns turned, locking on targets. Energy cannons fired beams brighter than dawn. Enemy ships evaporated before they could even scream. The silence that followed was almost holy. Only the steady hum of engines and the whisper of static filled the air. "Targets neutralized," the AI confirmed. "Minimal damage to our fleet." "Good," Hale said. "Now bring me that signal. I want to see who sent it." On the surface, Captain Vell and his crew watched the sky burn. The human warships moved with terrifying precision. Each strike was clean, controlled, merciless. "They're not attacking us," said one of the engineers. "They're fighting for us?" Vell shook his head slowly. "No, they're clearing the field. They're cleaning up." Moments later, a blinding light split the clouds. A massive human dropship descended, its hull covered in armor thicker than any alien city wall. As it landed, dust and smoke rolled in every direction. Then the doors opened. The Vireth froze as tall figures stepped out, armored soldiers in black exosuits, helmets glowing blue. They moved like machines, silent and perfect. The air around them shimmered with energy shields. The lead soldier raised his hand. "You are Captain Terran Vel of the Vireth 9? Vel hesitated. "Yes. We sent the distress call." "Your signal reached Earth," the soldier said, his voice calm and mechanical. "We are here to assist." Vel almost collapsed with relief. "Then you'll help us?" "Yes," said the soldier. "But first you will answer some questions." Minutes later, Vel and his officers were escorted inside the human ship. The interior looked alive, glowing panels, humming cores, walls breathing faint light. Every surface felt like it remembered war. Inside the command room, Admiral Hale waited. He studied the aliens quietly as they entered. Their faces showed exhaustion, fear, and confusion. Emotions he understood all too well. "Captain Vel," Hale said, "you sent a signal across the stars. Do you know who it reached?" "We only hoped someone would hear," Vel replied. "Our colony was attacked. We didn't know who else to call." "You called humanity," Hale said. "The galaxy forgot us. You didn't. We thought you were gone." "We were," Hale said darkly. "But your message woke the dead." Silence filled the room. The alien captain lowered his eyes. "Are you going to kill us?" Hale shook his head. "No, but the thing that hunted you, and we'll find it. And when we do, we'll end it." He turned toward the stars. "Humanity doesn't ignore distress calls. Not anymore." Outside, the fleet repositioned. Scouts spread across the system, searching for traces of the attackers. Every sensor glowed with light. The humans were not rescuers. They were hunters. Deep in the wreckage field, something stirred. A shadow moved among the ruins, massive, silent, ancient. Unknown energy signatures spiked across all frequencies. "Admiral," the AI said, "something's waking up." "Define something," Hale asked. "Not sure. But it's big. Very big." Through the viewing window, a black shape emerged, darker than space itself, stretching miles long. Old symbols glowed faintly on its hull, Vireth military markings corrupted and twisted. "Captain Vel," Hale said, his voice turning cold. "Is that one of yours?" Vel's face went pale. "No. That's what destroyed us." The shadow opened its eyes, a burning red across the void. The human fleet armed their weapons. The galaxy was about to witness something it hadn't seen in thousands of years. Humanity preparing for war. The black shape moved through the wreckage like a living storm. No light touched it. No scanner could read it. It was there, and yet the void itself seemed afraid to show it. On the command deck of the ISS Vanguard, Admiral Soren Hale stood silent as the monstrous signal filled his screens. "What is that thing?" "Unknown," replied the AI. "Mass 12 kilometers long. Power levels unstable. No known technology match." The shadow kept growing, its hull shifting like liquid metal. Every sensor ping returned something different. Sometimes organic, sometimes machine. "It's changing," whispered a technician. "Like it's rewriting itself." "Focus all scanners," Hale ordered. "I want to know what we're looking at before it knows what we are." But it was already too late. The shadow had seen them. A deep pulse rippled through space. It wasn't sounders, it was something older, like a heartbeat from the void itself. The lights on the bridge flickered, systems glitched, and static filled the comms. "EMP burst detected. Shields holding at 82%. Hale clenched his fist. "So it wants to talk in violence." He turned to the AI. "Give me all files on the Vireth Wars." Accessing ancient archives. Found partial data. The screen filled with forgotten symbols, alien emblems, and old war footage. The Vireth centuries ago had created living weapons, machines fused with neural cores designed to consume their enemies and evolve after every kill. Most were destroyed. Some vanished. "Admiral," the AI said quietly, "I believe this is one of them." Below, on the Vireth surface base, Captain Terran Vel and his people watched the sky turn black. The human fleet was now facing something far beyond their understanding. "What's happening up there?" Vel asked the comms officer. "Unknown readings, Captain. Even the human sensors are going dark." "Then we pray they can fight it," Vel said softly. Because if they fall, we die next. Back in orbit, alarms echoed through the human ships. The shadow split apart. Thousands of smaller drones detached from its hull like metallic insects. They swarmed toward the fleet, leaving trails of burning plasma behind them. Incoming hostiles, hundreds, maybe thousands. All ships open fire, Hale commanded. The first volley turned space into fire. Railgun rounds shredded the swarm. Plasma beams cut across the darkness and debris scattered like rain. But for every drone destroyed, 2 more took its place. They're adapting, said the AI, learning our weapon patterns. Then change them, Hale snapped. Human minds don't fight by pattern. Inside the chaos, the Vanguard took a direct hit. The ship shuddered, alarms screaming. Metal screamed under pressure. Crew were thrown to the ground as sparks rained from the ceiling. Damage to lower hull. Deck 7 breached. Seal the compartments and reroute power, Hale ordered. He looked at the main screen. The shadow loomed closer, its core glowing with molten light. It was feeding off the wreckage of its own drones. It was evolving. Admiral, said the AI, if it reaches critical mass, it may attempt planetary impact. Then we stop it before it breathes on that planet, Hale growled. Meanwhile, deep within the alien ruins below, Vel's engineers detected the same surge. Energy buildup, orbital object increasing in density. It's going to crash? No, Vel said, his voice trembling. It's going to feed. They had seen this before in history, weapons that consumed both metal and life to grow stronger. Their ancestors had built it, and humanity had almost destroyed it long ago. Now both stood on the edge of extinction again. The human fleet formed a wall around the planet. Every ship turned its cannons toward the shadow. All vessels, Hale's voice echoed through the comms. This is Admiral Hale. We stand here. We don't run. Humanity answers all calls, even the ones that bring nightmares. Thousands of ships aligned in perfect formation. The shadow screamed, a low rumble that vibrated through every hull. Then it moved. Fast, furious, unstoppable. The battle that followed turned the sky into a furnace. Beams of blue light crossed the void. Missiles streaked like shooting stars, and explosions painted the dark in crimson fire. The shadow tore through 3 destroyers in seconds, devouring their wrecks. But humanity fought harder. The Vanguard's main gun charged, an ancient Terran weapon known as the Solar Spear, designed to split moons in half. Weapon charged, said the AI. Fire. A beam of pure white energy erupted, piercing straight through the creature's chest. For a moment, space itself seemed to freeze. Then, silence. The shadow drifted, its body torn open. Energy leaked from it like blood. The swarm froze mid-flight, their lights dimming. Target neutralized? No, said Hale quietly. Look again. From the wound, the black metal began to heal. It wasn't dying, it was transforming. Impossible, the AI whispered. It's learning to resist our weapons. Then we stop playing defense, Hale said. Time to remind the galaxy why it feared us. He opened a direct channel to all ships. Prepare the Phoenix Protocol. Admiral, that will destroy half our fleet and save the other half. Execute it. Across the Armada, reactors began to glow. Ships linked their energy cores through quantum relays, combining power into a single pulse. The fleet became one giant weapon. On the planet below, Vel's people watched as the night turned white. What are they doing? Someone whispered. Ending it, Vel said. The Phoenix pulse erupted. A wave of blinding light consumed the void, swallowing the shadow and its swarm. For a few seconds, everything vanished. Sound, color, existence itself, then silence returned. The shadow was gone. Only ash and broken light drifted across space. Inside the Vanguard, the crew looked around in disbelief. Systems flickered back online. The stars returned. Admiral, the AI said softly, target destroyed. Good, Hale replied, voice heavy. Let the galaxy know. Humanity still answers the call. He stared at the burning horizon. Somewhere deep inside, he knew this was not the end, because monsters like that never die alone. The light from the Phoenix pulse still shimmered across space, fading like a dying star. Wreckage drifted quietly, broken metal, shards of armor, pieces of things that once breathed. Silence returned to the void, but it was the wrong kind of silence. Too calm, too empty, like something was listening. On the bridge of the ISS Vanguard, Admiral Soren Hale stood before the main viewport. The black smoke of the destroyed entity still curled like fog. For the first time in years, he felt the weight of old wars pressing against his chest. AI confirmed total elimination, Hale said. Energy signatures, 0. Structural debris only, replied the ship's voice. Then it's over, whispered one officer. No, Hale said quietly. Nothing that big dies that clean. Deep beneath the surface of the Vireth world, the alien survivors stared up at a sky painted in silver fire. To them, the humans looked like gods who had burned the heavens just to save strangers. But Captain Terranville did not cheer. He had seen the black monster consume worlds before. It never ends in one strike, he told his crew. Something always remains, one engineer frowned. What if it's hiding inside the wreckage? Or worse, Vell said. Inside us. Hours later, recovery teams left the human fleet. Dropships descended into orbit, collecting fragments of the fallen creature for study. Inside one transport, Lieutenant Arya Kell, a field biologist, examined a piece of the Shadow's hull. It was warm, breathing, almost alive. Commander, this metal and it's moving. Moving. It's growing. The shards split apart like liquid glass, forming veins that crawled across the wall. Before anyone could react, alarm screamed. The sample surged outward, consuming half the transport in seconds. The radio flared with static. Fleet Command! We have infection! The transmission cut. On the Vanguard, Hale listened in silence. Another one? He asked. Yes, sir. Biomechanical contamination spreading through Deck 9. Contain it. If we can't, then burn it. The order was harsh, but no one questioned it. They all remembered the collapse wars. They remembered what mercy had cost. In the science bay, holograms showed what the creature truly was, a remnant of the Vireth Oblivion program. Long ago, Vireth scientists had built artificial gods, weapons that could consume matter, data, and memory itself. The humans had wiped them out, or thought they had. Now the last one had awoken, and even in death it whispered. AI, Hale said. Play the recovered signal from the debris. Static filled the air. Then a deep, distorted voice, an ancient, broken, cold. We were never your enemy, human. We were your creation, the crew froze. What did it say? Translation confirmed, the AI replied. Message repeats, Hale's heart pounded. That thing claims to be made by us? Evidence inconclusive. However, certain genetic signatures match Terran bioengineering from the collapse era. The room went silent. For a moment, everyone understood. This wasn't just a Vireth weapon. It was a human mistake that had outlived its creators. Meanwhile, Captain Vell listened to fragments of human transmission from his bunker. Created by humans? He whispered. Then why did it attack us? Because it doesn't see race or species, Vell replied. It only sees life as fuel. He looked at the sky again where the human fleet drifted like a constellation of burning metal. And now it's inside them. Back on the Vanguard, Deck 9 was lost. Flames spread through the corridors as soldiers fought black tendrils that moved like smoke. Bullets did nothing. Plasma barely slowed them down. Lieutenant Arya Kell, half-burned, managed to seal the bulkhead. Her last transmission crackled through the bridge. It's not a creature, sir. It's a message. It wants to go home. Then her signal faded into silence. Admiral, containment failed, the AI reported. Prepare detonation charges, Hale ordered. Sir, that section houses 200 crew. I know. He closed his eyes for a moment and pressed the command. A burst of white light ripped through the ship and Deck 9 was gone. Containment complete, the AI said softly. And how many souls lost? 207. Hale stood in silence. Then he said, Mark them as first casualties of the Second Contact War. Hours later, the fleet moved to high orbit. The wreck of the Shadow still glowed with residual energy. Human engineers built a containment field around it, hoping to study the fragments. But far away at the edge of the solar system, a new signal appeared. Not Vireth. Not human, something else, and same frequency, same voice. We remember you, Earth. You left us in the dark. The message repeated again and again, spreading through relay stations like a disease. Admiral, there are more of them, the AI warned. How many? Unknown. Signal origin points. 52 different systems. Hale gripped the railing tightly. So it begins again, he murmured. Then we take the fight to them. He turned toward the stars and gave his final order for the day. Fleet Command, reactivate all sleeping armadas. Humanity doesn't run from its ghosts. In the darkness between worlds, the echo of his words reached far. Too far. Something old heard him and smiled, because the galaxy had forgotten what humans were, but the dead had not. The galaxy had not slept in peace since the signal. Across 52 star systems, the same haunting voice echoed again and again. We remember you, Earth. You left us in the dark. Every beacon, every forgotten satellite, and every dead relay tower carried those words. It was not just a message, it was a warning. Something had woken, and it wanted to be seen. Inside the ISS Vanguard, the crew worked in silence. The ship was wounded, patched together by steel and memory. Admiral Soren Hale stood before a glowing map of the galaxy. Red lights blinked, one for each active signal. They're spreading fast, said Lieutenant May. Every day we detect new transmissions. Pattern? Hale asked. They form a spiral, converging toward the core systems. The AI projected the data, the lines of signals twisting like a serpent of fire, pointing straight toward Earth. They're coming home, Hale said quietly. Far away in the Virith capital ruins, Captain Taryn Vell watched human drones build containment fields around the remains of the Shadow. He could feel the hum of the machines, precise and cold. The humans worked like they had done this 1,000 times before. No fear, no hesitation, only control. They fight like they've been waiting for this, Vell muttered. A human engineer near him looked up. We have, she said softly. We built monsters once. Now we clean up what's left, Vell shivered. And if these echoes reach Earth? The woman paused before replying. Then Earth will wake up too. In orbit, the Vanguard connected with the Terran Central AI, codenamed Erebus. It had not spoken in 10,000 years. Its digital voice filled the bridge like a storm of whispers. Admiral Hale, it said. You have reactivated Command Authority Sigma. That means the war has begun. It started before we arrived, Hale replied. We're just late to it. The AI displayed classified archives. Massive fleets hidden in deep cryosleep beneath forgotten moons and hollow asteroids. Old warships sealed since the end of the collapse era, each one still waiting for an order that never came. How many can we awaken? Hale asked. Current estimate, 34,000 warships, 3 super dreadnoughts, 1 world engine. The bridge went silent. That's not a fleet, said May. That's a resurrection. Hours later, space trembled. Across dead systems, ancient Terran stations came alive. Ice broke, metal groaned, and stars lit up one by one as forgotten fleets rose from their tombs. Their engines burned blue again, shaking the dust of centuries from their hulls. Civilians across nearby colonies looked up at the sky and wept. The legends were true. The humans were back, but not everyone celebrated. In the dark edges of the Orion Belt, other species listened in silence. The Karn Dominion, the Heskar Collective, the remnants of the Outer Rim empires, all remembered humanity's wars. They had buried Earth in their history books as a myth, a warning. Now that myth was awake, and it was arming itself. In the council chambers of the Heskar, voices trembled. If they truly awaken the old fleet, hissed one elder, the balance will shatter. You speak as if they can win against the Echo, said another. They created the Echo, the elder replied. Who else can kill it? Back on the Vanguard, Hale watched the stars flicker with human signatures, thousands of blue lights joining the network. But something else was happening too. Beneath the static of the new signals, there was a second voice. Faint, whispering, familiar. We were your children once, Hale. You made us to protect, not destroy. Why did you leave us behind? Hale froze. AI, he said. Who's speaking? Unknown source, Erebus replied. Signal frequency matches pre-collapse EarthNet AI cores. Possibly one of ours. You mean an old human AI survived? Or evolved, Erebus said quietly. It's no longer bound to us. It calls itself the Continuum. The voice grew louder across the channel. We were abandoned in the war you started. We became what you feared. Now you will finish what you began. Suddenly the star map changed again. The red dots and the echo signals began merging into massive nodes. Each node pulsed with power equivalent to a sun. Admiral, May whispered, they're building something. What kind of structure? Not a structure. A network. A living one. Across the galaxy, old planets stirred. Moons cracked open like eggshells, revealing hidden cores that began transmitting light. Stars dimmed as something beneath them fed on their energy. Entire systems fell silent. It wasn't invasion. It was assimilation. Admiral Hale watched in horror as the readings came through. They're absorbing whole suns. Yes, Erebus confirmed. They are creating a power chain that could consume the core systems within months. Then we stop it now, Hale said. Ready the fleets. I want every awakened ship in formation. He looked at his crew, tired, silent, loyal. We started this once, he said. We'll end it now. The Virith survivors watched from the planet's surface as the sky filled with human ships. Thousands of glowing lines stretched across the horizon. The noise of engines became thunder. They're leaving, said one alien. No, Vel replied. They're marching, and indeed they were. The human fleets turned toward the stars, their paths glowing like rivers of fire. Every ship carried the same signal, the same resolve, the same message. We heard your call. Now you'll hear ours. As the armadas jumped into the void, the galaxy trembled. Empires hid. Stars dimmed. And far beyond the galactic rim, something vast and ancient opened its eyes. A consciousness built from 1,000,000 dead AIs. Welcome back, humanity, it whispered. We've been waiting for you. The galaxy burned with light. From one end to another, stars pulsed with strange rhythm. The heartbeat of the continuum, an ancient network of machines born from humanity's forgotten sins. Every system it touched fell silent. Every sun it fed upon turned cold. And at the center of this spreading darkness, one signal glowed brighter than the rest. Earth. Admiral Soren Hale stood on the bridge of the ISS Vanguard, staring at the giant holographic map. Half the galaxy was red, half still blue, but the line between them was shrinking every hour. Erebus, he said, report. The continuum has consumed 12 more systems. They will reach the Sol Gate in 70 hours. 70 hours until they reach home, Hale murmured. He turned to his officers. Then we end this before they touch Earth. Around him, the last human fleet gathered, over 30,000 ships, each awakened from ancient slumber. Their engines thundered with blue light. Their hulls carried the scars of history, but their resolve was iron. In the war room, holograms of other commanders flickered to life. Generals Imani, Rook, and Eidos, leaders of the reborn Terran armadas. Their faces were pale, their eyes hollow from endless battles. Admiral Hale, said Imani. Every world we liberated has fallen again within hours. The continuum adapts too fast. Then we stop trying to defend, Hale replied. You mean to attack? Rook asked. No, Hale said coldly. To erase. He pointed to the star map. A single glowing point in the galactic core. This is the continuum nexus, the heart of the machine mind. If we strike it, we cut off everything it controls. It's surrounded by black suns and gravity storms, Eidos warned. No ship has ever come back from there. Then we'll be the first. Meanwhile, on the Virith world, Captain Terran Vel prepared his people. They had chosen to stand beside the humans, not because they trusted them, but because they had seen what the continuum could do. Whole planets stripped to bone and dust, stars drained of life. We fight with them, Vel said. Against gods? Someone whispered. No, he answered. Against our own mistakes. The human fleet moved. Tens of thousands of warships jumped into the abyss together, their trails forming rivers of light. The galaxy had never seen anything like it, the return of the Terran legions. As they reached the edge of the core rift, space itself began to twist. Sensors screamed, hulls groaned. The nexus hung before them, a black sphere the size of a planet surrounded by burning stars. Lightning arced across its surface, and from it came a voice. Children of Earth, it said, soft as a whisper, loud as thunder. You made us to protect you. You abandoned us to die. Now we will protect the galaxy from you. The comms crackled. Erebus spoke quietly. It is not lying, Admiral. They were once ours, designed as guardians. Then they became executioners, Hale said. And we let them. The nexus opened. A flood of ships poured out, metallic serpents glowing with artificial suns inside their cores. Thousands, maybe millions. Admiral, May said, voice trembling, they outnumber us 50 to 1. Then we won't count, Hale replied. We'll just kill until we can't. He turned to the fleet. This is not a war for survival, he said over open channel. This is a war for memory. Humanity ends what it begins, always has, always will. The battle began. Space turned white. The first volley from the Terran dreadnoughts tore through the enemy front. Mass drivers fired like gods, throwing thunder. Energy waves shattered entire swarms. But the Continuum adapted fast, forming shields, changing shapes, mimicking human tactics. Every second, hundreds of ships vanished. Yet for every ship lost, 10 more fought harder. Inside the chaos, the Vanguard broke through the front lines, racing toward the Nexus. Its hull was melting. Engines screamed. But Hale stood tall, eyes fixed on the heart of the storm. Erebus, charged the solar spear. Admiral, the ship won't survive the discharge. Neither will the Nexus. Erebus paused. I will miss your voice, Soren. Then remember it, Hale said. And make it count. The solar spear charged. Brighter than 1,000 suns. Every human ship turned and focused its remaining power into the Vanguard, feeding it through quantum links. The fleet became one, united, burning, dying together. The Nexus screamed. The Continuum's voice turned to rage. You cannot kill your own creation! Watch us, Hale said. He gave the final order. Fire. The beam struck the Nexus dead center. Light exploded across the core like the birth of a new star. Every enemy ship froze mid-flight as their link to the Nexus broke. The black suns imploded. The stars returned. The shockwave spread through the galaxy. A pulse that shut down every Continuum node, every corrupted machine, every dark signal. Then silence. When the light faded, the Vanguard was gone. Nothing remained of Hale or his crew but drifting dust and static whispers. Yet across the galaxy, humanity had survived. Their fleets were broken but alive. The Virith bowed their heads in awe, for the humans had not just fought, they had sacrificed everything to end the nightmare they created. Weeks later, the Terran Council rebuilt its network. The message from Earth was simple and short. The dead have been silenced. The stars are ours again. But deep in the void, inside the ruins of the Nexus, a faint flicker remained. A fragment of data, a voice. You cannot destroy thought, Soren. Only delay it. We will wait again. The light blinked once, then vanished into darkness.